Okay, so let's see what the residents of Jambudvipa are praying today. We heard the prayers of Lakshmi Devi. So now let's see. Now Shukdev Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. So Shukdev Goswami continued in the Ramyaka Varsh. So this is another part of Jambudvip, where Vaivashvata Manu rules. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as Lord Matsya at the end of the last era, the Chakshusha Manvantar. Vaivashvata Manu now worships Lord Matsya in pure devotional service and chants the following mantra. So the last incarnation was in the Chakshusha Manvantar, in the Ramyak Varsh, was Lord Matsya, and Vaivashvata Manu is ruling that Varsha. So is worshipping the last incarnation, Lord Matsya. So who is the last incarnation for us in Kali Yuga?
Kalki,
No, who has appeared?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So we worship the latest incarnation, that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there'll be no more incarnation till the end of Kali Yuga. Between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Kalki Avatar, there is no more. According to the scriptures, there is no more in between. So he worships Matsya Avatar, who appeared as the latest at the end of the last era. So let's see now. What prayers he offers to Matsya Avatar. Matsya is the fish incarnation. Who wrote that boat, right, in which all the Vedas were there. Satyavrat, King Satyavrat was there. He is the same Satyavrat in Damodar Leela, right, who has written the Damodar Ashtakam. Is it the same Satyavrat who was on the boat, or is it different?
Yes, that's him.
Same one. So there was a flood, and then Matsya Avatar on the top of his head was tied like a rope, by which he was pulling the boat, something, and everybody was rescued. So Vaivashvata Manu is offering prayers to Matsya Avatar. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is pure transcendence. He is the origin of all life, bodily strength, mental power, and sensory ability. Everything comes from Krishna. Known as the Matsya Avatar, the gigantic fish incarnation, he appears first among all the incarnations. So that's the first avatar, right? Matsya Avatar is the first avatar. Again, I offer my obeisances unto him. Okay. So in Jaydev Goswami's song, it is described, all the 10 avatars are described. So since we are talking about Matsya Avatar, Srila Jaydev Goswami sings, Pralaya payodhi chale dhritavana vedam vihitavahitra charitramakhedam keshavadrita meena sharira jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare. Pralaya means at the time of destruction. So soon after the cosmic creation, the entire universe was inundated with water. At that time, Lord Krishna, Keshav, incarnated as a gigantic fish to protect the Vedas. So Krishna always comes to rescue. Which verse in Bhagavad Gita says that? He comes to rescue protect the devotees. What is the verse?
Content. कोणत्या प्रतिजने नामे भक्त
Paritrana sadhunam. Yeah, that's
हाँ,
also. Paritrana sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. In this age, the Lord has descended as, in this Kali Yuga, he has come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and also as the, also he has come as the
holy name
holy name,
कली काले नाम रूप कृष्ण
Krishna
अवतार
Avatar.
नाम होते हुए सर्व जगत निस्तार
He has also come as the
the deity Srimad Bhagavatam
Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna Swadhama Upagate Dharma Jnana Divisaha Kalo
कली
Nashtam Drishamesha Puranarko Adhunoditaha. So this Bhagavatam, just like the sun, has arisen after the departure of Lord Krishna to his abode and will give light in this age of Kali to all those who have lost their vision. Kalo Nashtam Drishamesha. He'll give direction. So Bhagavatam. Holy name, Lord Chaitanya. So at that time, Lord Krishna, Keshav, incarnated as a gigantic fish to protect the Vedas. Therefore, Manu addresses Lord Matsya as Mukhyatama, the first incarnation to appear. Fish are generally considered a mixture of modes of ignorance and passion, but we must understand that every incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely transcendental. So Krishna is not affected by the modes of material nature in whichever form he comes. And that's why he's called Achyuta, one who never comes under the influence of the modes of material natures. Prabhupada is saying normally fish means animal. Animal is affected by all this. But when Krishna comes as Matsya Avatar, he is not affected by the modes of nature. He is transcendental in whichever form he comes. In the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, right? Or Tribhir Guna Mayir Bhavir. In the another chapter, it says everybody is influenced Tribhir Guna Mayir Bhavir. Everybody is influenced by the modes of nature and they do not know me, right? Mamebhya Paramabhyam. They do not know my transcendental nature. Mohitam Nabi Janati. Mamebhya Paramabhyam.
the second line is त्रिभिर गुणमय भावे एभे सर्वमिदं जगत्
Ebi Sarvamidam Jagat. Mohitam Nabi Janati.
जानाति मामेभ्य परम अव्ययम्
So as long as we are under the influence of modes of nature, Krishna is saying we don't know him. And who is above the modes of nature? So, so only by getting out of the influence of the modes of nature can we actually understand Krishna in truth. Of course, in other modes of nature also we understand little bit, but as we rise above the modes of nature, especially mode of passion, come to the mode of goodness and then pure goodness, then more and more we can understand Krishna and Krishna reveals himself to us more and more. More and more we'll feel the presence of Krishna as we become free from the contamination, the anarthas in our heart. And to rise above the modes of nature, Krishna says how you can rise above the modes of nature.
मां छायो
Yeah,
व्यभिचारेण
Bhakti
भक्ति
Yoga.
योगेन सेवते सर्वगुणान् समेति तं ब्रह्मभूय कल्पते
You can rise above the modes of nature by engaging in unalloyed devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances like that. Of course, we cannot do that unfailing in all circumstances. One who does not fall down, Krishna is saying. So, like that, at least we can do devotional service as much as we can, and then slowly the effect of modes of passion and all these things. Because in the mode of passion, our knowledge is covered by desires for enjoyment. Avritam jnanam etena jnanino nitya verina kama rupena kontiya dushpurena analena cha. So when we are covered by the mode of passion, rajogun, then this spiritual knowledge doesn't sink in because our desires is to enjoy in this material world. So we cannot accept Krishna as the enjoyer, right? Because we want to put ourselves as the enjoyer. I am in I am in the center, then Krishna will not be in the center. Mode of passion means the desire for name, fame, honor, prestige, desire to gratify the senses. This is so that is why Krishna is saying this is the eternal enemy. The lust that is born of the mode of passion is the Nitya Vedina, is the eternal enemy of the conditioned soul, which keeps him bound in the cycle of birth and death. Keeps him. So then, how do I come out of this mode of passion? The mode of passion you can come out by engaging in devotional service, and yeah, that's how we can come out. Okay, then we'll understand our situation, who we are. Mode of passion means bodily identification. So there is never any deterioration of the Supreme Lord's original transcendental quality. So Krishna's quality never deteriorates. He never comes under the sway of the modes of material nature. Therefore, the word Satvaya is used here, meaning pure goodness on the transcendental platform. There are many incarnations of the Supreme Lord, Varaha Murti, the boar form, Kurma Murti, the tortoise form, Varaha Kurma Matsya, Hayagriva Murti, the form of a horse, and so on. Yet we should never think of them, any of them, material. They are always situated on the platform of Shuddha Sattva, pure transcendence. Because Krishna says, when I come in this world, I do not change my body. Of course, the body is changing. He has a pig form, but his body is still spiritual. So uh, it's just different transformations, but he never becomes. Material body means under the influence of modes of material nature. So as soon as you have material body means you are under the influence of the modes of material nature. But Krishna doesn't have a material form. So, like that. Okay, so that's why Vaivashvata Manu is saying he is the origin of all life, bodily strength, mental power, and sensory ability. I offer my obeisances unto him. So offering obeisances to a fish, right? Some people who do not understand me say, well, what is we are offering obeisances to a fish, offering obeisances to a plant, Tulsi Devi. So many weird things we do, right? We circumambulate a plant, we worship a plant, we worship half man, half lion, we worship the deity which is made up of stone or marble as God. So these things we chant the same name repeatedly, right? Same words repeatedly. So it may not make sense, right, from a material point of view. All these things, or we say Charnamrit, this is water that has washed the feet of of the Lord. The remnants of a pure devotee. All these things are very potent things, but it's difficult to have faith that by chanting the holy name, by repeating the same words. So, yeah, normally it sounds like crazy thing to do. Same thing over and over again. Doing. Okay, the next verse. अन्तर्बहिश्चाखिललोकपालके अदृष्टरूपो विचरस्य उरुस्वनः स ईश्वरस्त्वं यइदं वशे नयन् नाम्ना यथा दारुमयीं नरस्त्रियम्. My dear Lord, so Vaivashvata Manu is further praying, just as a puppeteer controls his dancing dolls and a husband controls his wife, your Lordship controls all the living entities in the universe, such as the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Although you are in everyone's heart as the supreme witness and commander, and are outside everyone as well, the so called leaders of societies, communities, and countries cannot realize you. Only those who hear the vibration of the Vedic mantras can appreciate you. So Krishna is controlling everyone, but out of false ego, we are thinking we are independent. We are being controlled by the modes of nature. We can see, right, in our life, in one particular day itself, sometimes we are in the mode of passion, sometimes we are in the mode of goodness. The modes are constantly changing. In one day itself, in few hours only the modes can change. So our mind is affected by all these different modes. And we are controlled just as a puppeteer controls the puppets. Similarly, that picture is there, right? All the three three ladies
But
are controlling their strings tied to the living entity and they are making him dance. What is that verse? Yare nache.
yeah, अकेला ईश्वर कृष्ण और सब भृत्य यारे याय छे न जाय ते ताय छे करे नृत्य.
Yare yache nachaye te tare. We are dancing, but Maya is so much covered us that we are thinking ahankara vimudatma karta ham iti manyate prakrite kriyamana gunai karmani sarvashaha. Ahankara vimudatma karta ham iti manyate. We are thinking I am independent. I am doing on my own. But modes of nature are dictating to us what we should do. And right, so that's how it is.
And the Jaladuta prayer is also Prabhupada prayed like this. Ani yache jadi Prabhu amare nachate, nachao Prabhu, nachao se mate. Oh Lord, I'm just like a puppet in your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance as you like. So this is also a surrendered devotee who's saying that I give up my free will and you let me, I am a puppet in your hands.
Yeah, so you dance to the tune of Krishna or you dance to the tune of
Maya.
Maya. So they say you have to serve. Either you serve Krishna or you serve Maya. The choice is yours. But your position as servant doesn't go away. So if you serve Maya, then you will get all repeated birth and death. If you serve Krishna, you will get happiness. If you serve Maya, then you will get all the miseries of material existence. So if you serve Krishna, then you get liberation and eternal life full of happiness. So if serving Maya means serving our illusory, the illusory energy of the Lord, and so we have to serve. So so Krishna consciousness means saying no to Maya and yes to Krishna. Basically, that's both are saying, "Come, come, serve me." Comes Krishna is also demanding, right? Come, come, serve me, serve me. Offer me some leaf, flower, fruit, water with love. Like that. Maya is also tempting us. So, by the grace of Krishna, we can get good intelligence, and then we can distinguish discrimination whether it's Maya's call or is it Krishna's call. So, if we are chanting Hare Krishna, as this is saying, that only those who hear the vibration of Vedic mantras can appreciate you. Okay, so the next the purport. So, in this verse, everybody is controlled but they cannot realize you. Saying, Vaivashvatamanu is saying, okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Antarbahi, is present within and without everything. What does that remind you of? Present within and without everything. Which prayer does it remind you
यत् यतो यतो यामि ततो नृसिंह
of?
बहिर्नृसिंह हृदये नृसिंह नृसिंह नृसिंह.
Yeah. Yato yato ya. Wherever I go, Narsingha Devi is Bahir Narsingha Hridaye Narsingha. Is Bahir outside and he's in the Hridaya also. So Antar Bahi, one must overcome the delusion caused by the Lord's external energy. So Krishna is watching. As the Paramatma is watching, outside he's also watching. He's the sun, the moon, all the witnesses, 13 witnesses. His super soul in heart. You can't escape the CCTV, Krishna's CCTV camera. So Krishna is watching. So sometimes we have a public life, right? Then we have a private life. Then we have a secret life. And Krishna knows everything. Because he knows us inside out. He's from inside he's watching us. So all the our desires he knows, everything he knows. Why we are doing, what we are doing, what is the motivation. Outside people cannot know, but Krishna knows everything. He's present within us. And he knows our past, what we have done. Vedaham samatitani vartmanani cha Arjuna. So we should always remember Krishna is watching me. So I should act in a way that is pleasing to him. Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Antarbahi, is present within and without everything. One must overcome the delusion caused by the Lord's external energy. So one must overcome Maya and realize his presence both externally and internally. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.19, Srimati Kunti Devi has explained that Krishna appears in this world. Nato natyadharo yatha, exactly like an actor dressed as a player. So in the drama, they are dressed, actor is dressed. In Bhagavad Gita 1861, Krishna says, Ishvara Sarva. So what is 1819 says, Maya Javani Kachanam Agyadhokshajam Avyayam. Agyadhokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshyase Mudhadrisha Nato Natyadharo Nato Natyadharo Yatha. Beyond the range of the limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor, covered by the curtain of deluding energy. So behind the curtain, we cannot see behind the curtain, but behind the curtain is Krishna. Like the example is given that when Krishna is like the sun, what is the example? Krishna is like the sun, and then the sun, what does the sun do? Sun, uh,
The
Clouds
clouds.
yeah,
followed by the clouds.
Yeah, but only sun can remove the clouds.
But wind removes the clouds.
huh?
Not this. But wind removes the cloud, right?
Wind can remove the
Then it
cloud. Yeah. So the sun is Krishna, and the sun evaporates the water and causes the cloud. If there was no sun, there would be no cloud. So the cloud represents the Maya. So it's Krishna's own energy that causes the clouds. Is Devi Asha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratya. Krishna is saying this is my energy. But when we are covered by the cloud, we cannot see Krishna. So so when we are covered by Maya Shakti of Krishna, we cannot see Krishna. So how to remove the cloud? But not everybody is covered by the cloud, right? Like Amrendra was saying. It may be cloudy in Columbus, but it may be sunny in California. So or Florida, which is Sunshine State. So some jivas are covered by the cloud, not everybody. Other places sun is shining. Of course, in the material world, most of the people are covered by Maya. So, so
So we say Krishna's mercy removes the Maya. Mame vaya prapadyante Maya metam tarantite.
yeah, Krishna's mercy.
Surrendering to Krishna.
Yeah, in that Jaladuta song, Prabhupada said, right? Everybody has come under the influence of Maya by your own will.
In Ishopanishad's prayer also there's a prayer, right? Just remove the curtain of your so I can see you.
The bright
The
light of that.
devotees are praying, yeah.
Yeah, so like when we are driving, we are not supposed to put our high beam on because if you put high beam on, it will blind the oncoming traffic, especially on a two-lane road where you are going in one direction. You can get a ticket. You're not supposed to put. In India, they put the high beam, so such high beam is on. You can't even see whether it's a truck coming, whether it's a car coming, what is the size of the vehicle. Very difficult to see. Sometimes it blinds your eye. So, so the effulgence blinds the. So I think in the Ishopanishad it says, please remove your impersonal effulgence so I can see you. Okay. Yeah, something else. Okay. In Bhagavad Gita 1867, 61. So all this Maya can be removed when we can, we are, as this verse is saying, when we hear the vibration of Vedic mantras. So Prabhupada in the Gajendra section, he says we should remember chanting some mantras. Chintamani prakarasad masukalpa vriksha. He gives this Brahma Samhita. And of course, it is not mere recitation, but we have to also meditate on the meaning. So, but this sound has such power, that it can disentangle us. They say the whole creation began with the sound, and our material existence started with the sound, and we can be uncovered. Anavriti hi shabdat, anavriti hi shabdat. So by hearing Bhagavatam, the transcendental sound vibration, we can become uncovered from this. And when we are uncovered, then we will feel very happy actually. When we are out of the influence of Maya, we will feel so light and so free from anxiety. All the anxieties we are having is because of our desires to become happy in this material world. But when all the material desires go away, then you feel very light and very blissful and joyful. Because there is nothing to really achieve in this world except serving Krishna and becoming Krishna conscious. There's nothing really I have to achieve, materially speaking, in this world. So all the goals and all these things we have, suddenly all this curtain lifts, curtain of Maya lifts, and then we'll feel. Of course, you can have goals to serve Krishna. That's okay. Yeah, but the goals in itself are not the purpose of life. Right? That I want to become a PhD or I want to become this. I want to become this. This is not the goal of life to become a PhD. Okay, you can use your PhD to serve Krishna. That's different. But the goal of life is not to become a rich man or things like that. We are not. So we are not here for that. This purpose to start a business and make a lot of money and then die. Okay, you can do business to serve Krishna. That's different. But yeah, so when we become free from all these desires, then we'll become very happy. We'll not feel any anxiety. The anxiety is because we are trying to be happy in a place which is certified as dukkhalaya. That's why there is struggle. We are trying to establish our situation in a dukkhalayam place. Right? All we need is some prasadam and some place to sleep and service of the Lord, basically. And That's all we need. But because we have so many desires, and these desires are based on the culture in which we live, which tells us this is how your life should go. In Satya Yuga, the culture was different, right? They were all like, as we hear, we have not been, we were in Satya Yuga, some, but we don't remember. But Shastra says, right, Satya Yuga, most people were. This was their main goal, how to approach God, how to become free from the cycle of birth and death. In Kali Yuga, nobody is thinking like that. Oh, I have to become free from the. Everybody is thinking how I have to make my career and make like nice life or sense enjoyment. So that is the culture. So we also get affected by the culture, and things are very complex, right? Things are very difficult to get. So much competition and artificial economy, which can collapse at any time. Wars can start. So many things. So there is a lot of anxiety after doing your masters. You don't know if you will get a job or not. So many people are looking for jobs, and it creates all the anxiety. So, and now Trump is like doing away with so many jobs. So all this in this kind of situation. And because we have to make our ends meet, we are not, we have to depend because we have been educated academically. Now we have to depend on, we have to find a master who will give us a job. Actually, Shudras, they work for a master, right? That's how they say. The dog is saying, please, I need a master. Prabhupada who was talking in one class. Oh, please give me a job, please give me a job. You're going in, they say, no vacancy, no vacancy. Now you go there, no vacancy. Begging, please give me a job, please give me a job. So all these things, and then job goes away, then there is anxiety, and all these things. So we want to live an anxiety-free life. We don't want to live a life fulfilled with anxiety. That's quality life, right? One quality life means to live life free from anxiety and do what you want to do. Be happy. Of course, we may have material desires, so we may want to do so many things in this world. I want to become this, I want to become that. But real life means life free from anxiety in the service of the Lord, depending on the Lord, and like that. Many people are in occupations which they don't like, but they are stuck with it. Like Gaur Gopal Prabhu was saying, I don't want to spend my time doing something. How many hours I will spend in my whole life doing something which I don't want to do. So like that. But we are forced because we have our needs to meet like that. Anyway, that's a different thing. But no matter what, we can become Krishna conscious in any situation. So in Bhagavad Gita 1861, Krishna says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshu Arjuna tishtati. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjun. The Lord is situated within everyone's heart and outside as well. Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham. Within the heart is the super soul, the incarnation who acts as the advisor and witness. Yet, although God is residing within their hearts, foolish people say, I cannot see God, please show him to me. Hiranyakashipu was also thinking that Vishnu has hidden, right? I think he was saying, so he cannot find Vishnu because he has taken shelter in the hearts, something like that. So God is residing within. Foolish people say, I cannot see God, please show him to me. Everyone is under the control of the Supreme Personality of God, exactly like dancing dolls, controlled by a puppeteer or a woman controlled by her husband. A woman is compared to a doll, Darumayi, because she has no independence. She should always be controlled by a man. Still, due to false prestige, a class of women want to remain independent. What to speak of women? All living entities are Prakriti. So here women also want to dominate, men also want to dominate. Of course, everybody is woman in one sense, as Prabhupada says. And therefore dependent on the Supreme Lord, as Krishna himself explains in Bhagavad Gita. Aparayamitastvanyam prakritim vidime param. The living entity is never independent. Under all circumstances, is dependent on the mercy of the Lord. The Lord creates the social divisions of human society, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, and ordains that they follow rules and regulations suited to their particular position, which is almost non existent in Kali Yuga, the Brahmanas. And we may be Brahminically initiated, right? We may be wearing sacred thread and all these things, but we are not doing the work of a Brahmana, means we are working for some at a job. Like no Brahmana in Vedic times works for a company and does technology. All this is, of course, in one sense, devotees are above the Varnashram. But the real Varnashram means Brahmanas are what are they doing? What is their business? As Prabhupada describes, what does he say? Pathan,
पठन पाठन
Yajan,
यजन याजन
Dana.
दान प्रतिज्ञा.
Means Pathan means studying the Vedic
Studying
scriptures.
the scriptures. Pathan means teaching.
Uh,
Yajan means doing yagnas or and teaching yagnas, right? And
yeah, worship.
dan pratigya, charity, giving charity, accepting charity.
Brahmana never accepts a salary. So he never accepts a salary. He depends on donations. Somebody gives him donation, and then that donation he gets, and then he uses it also. He gives it away. So Brahmana, we say all the time. Once upon a time, there was a poor Brahmana. Brahmanas, they don't live very luxuriously, opulently. They keep themselves in a, and because they are not dependent on anybody, they can give free advice, independent advice, which is they're not afraid of anybody. So they will give the right advice, because as soon as you take occupation from somebody, then you're afraid of offending your boss. Because if you offend your boss, then he will not give you a salary. Right? So you want to maintain a good relationship with your boss. But then you cannot say what you want to say because you are dependent on him. Like who says, मैंने आपका नमक खाया है, right? So in this Bhishma, right, and Duryodhana, no, Bhishma and Dronacharya, Prabhupada writes somewhere that they were thinking that they are being maintained by the king of Hastinapur. So although they were speaking, but they could not go against. So like that, when you are being maintained and you have strings attached, you cannot give the free advice. So that's why Brahmana is not like obliged to anybody. He's independent, and so he can speak the spiritual knowledge and give the right advice without being afraid. So like that, those are real Brahmanas. Prabhupada would speak so fearlessly. He did not care for public opinion, right? How the public will think. So many his lectures were like that. Some he would speak very boldly. Of course, we cannot imitate like that, but that's real sadhu. Sadhu means he will speak the truth. Of course, we say truth should be spoken, whether it is pleasing or not. Sometimes it says, what is that? Satyam Priyam. Truth should be spoken in a very palatable, pleasing way.
अनुद्विका करम वाक्यम सत्यम प्रियम हितम च
Yeah.
स्वाध्याय अभ्यासनम च वाङ्मयं तपोच्यते.
Austerity of speech consists of speaking words that are pleasing, truthful.
Anudviga, not agitating.
Satyam Priyam,
Satyam, satyam,
truth,
truthful. Priyam
pleasing.
means yeah. Hitam is beneficial. Priyam is pleasing. Swadhyabhyasanam means referencing the scriptures.
Of course, sometimes they do bridge preaching, right? So that maybe through bridge preaching, because they cannot accept directly the highest thing. So it's a bridge to connect, to come to bring them onto other side. But one Maharaj was saying, don't do bridge preaching and leave them on the bridge. Bring them to the other side. Don't leave them on the bridge. So you have to tell the thing ultimately that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the goal of life is to surrender to Krishna like that. Otherwise, we'll always do bridge preaching. And it will not change the hearts because you're not bringing in Krishna. So, the Lord creates the social divisions of human society, Brahmana, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, and ordains that they follow rules and regulations suited to their particular position. So, in the Mahabharata, right, in the Bhishma Parva, Bhishma is speaking about all this Varnashram to Yudhishthir Maharaj, which is very difficult to implement in this age. In this way, all members of society. So we take little bit portions of here and there, Varnashram. We have the farm communities. Okay, farm communities. It's one part of it. But where are the Kshatriyas? Kshatriyas are supposed to be ruling the state, and they are the ones who are God conscious. So unless the population becomes God conscious, they will not elect a God conscious leader, and there will be no Kshatriyas. So there will be always some lack. So that's why Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam. Kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. In this age, nothing works. Only Hare Nam works. In this way, all members of society remain always under the Supreme Lord's control. Still, some foolish people foolishly deny the existence of God. So we are under the control of God, but we foolishly deny the existence of God. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Self-realization means to understand one's subordinate position in relation to the Lord. When one is thus enlightened, he surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is liberated from the clutches of the material energy. In other words, unless one surrenders to the lotus feet of the Lord, the material energy in its many varieties will continue to control him. There's a lecture by Radhanath Swami which is entitled Maya will not let go until you surrender. Right? Maya is not going to let you go. So you can try this way and that way, and until you actually surrender from your heart, the influence of Maya will not diminish. So, not show, but actually surrendering from the heart to Krishna, then only Maya will let you go. So, in other words, unless one surrenders to the lotus feet of the Lord, the material energy in its many varieties will continue to control him. So we sometimes say, I cannot do this, I cannot, because we are under the influence of Maya, right? We are under the influence of Maya. Why we are under the influence of Maya? Because we are not surrendered to the Lord. So that is why the influence of Maya is acting on us. To the extent you surrender to the Lord, the influence of Maya will diminish. It's inversely proportional relationship, right? Surrender to Krishna is inversely proportional to the influence of Maya. As surrender to Krishna increases, the influence of Maya decreases. And as surrender to Krishna decreases, then so what is surrender? Surrender is 6 limbs, anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. Like that. Surrendering means taking the Lord as one's maintainer and one's master, one's protector, and doing things that are favorable for bhakti, avoiding things that are not favorable for bhakti. Of course, that also requires spiritual strength to do things that are favorable for bhakti and not do things that are unfavorable for bhakti. That also requires spiritual strength. So all the strength then ultimately comes from chanting the holy name. So somehow or other we have to chant. Right? So, but I have no taste in chanting. No. Chant anyway. Chant, chant, chant. Can't. There was a cartoon. Wife is telling husband, chant, chant, chant. Can't. Somehow or other chant the holy name. There's a thing, right? I'm distracted. Chant anyway. I'm feeling very lusty. Chant anyway. I am this, that. Chant anyway, right? So somehow or other chant the holy name. And then while you are chanting, you can pray to Krishna. We should be in prayerful mood. Krishna, please help me. Krishna, please help me. So then that will work if you pray to Krishna through the chanting of the holy name. No one in the material world can deny that he's under control. Actually, that's a nice verse from Adi Puran, right? There is no, what is that? Yeah, this, oh, you already pasted. Yeah, okay. You can read this.
Your mind is wandering all over the universe when you chant. Chant anyway. Your mind is wandering to the past and future when you chant. Chant anyway. You are not able to concentrate on Krishna's names while you chant. Chant anyway. You have no taste for chanting. Chant anyway. You have lusty desires. Chant anyway. You are making offenses in chanting. Chant anyway. You're not being praying to Krishna to help you chant better. Chant anyway. You often chant late at night. Chant anyway. So why should you chant despite of all the above obstacles? This is why. There is no vow like chanting the holy name, no knowledge superior to it, no meditation which comes anywhere near it, and it gives the highest result. No penance is equal to it, and nothing is as potent or powerful as the holy name. Chanting is the greatest act of piety and the supreme refuge. Even the words of the Vedas do not possess sufficient power to describe its magnitude. Chanting is the highest path to liberation, peace, and eternal life. It is the pinnacle of devotion, the heart's joyous proclivity and attraction, the best form of remembrance of the Supreme Lord. The holy name has appeared solely for the benefit of all living entities as their Lord and the Master, their supreme worshipable object, and their spiritual guide and mentor.
So somehow or other chant the holy name. Yeah, if we say I have to get taste, then only I will chant. No, first you chant, then the taste will come. Prabhupada said like, first so we try our best to chant with attention. We have all the material desires, but still we have to chant. It's not like I'll become free from material desires, then I will chant. No. Or my situation will change, then I will chant the holy name. No. We cannot wait all these things. Now my children are going to school, now this is happening, now I have to build my career. I can't chant like that. No, chanting that cannot wait. Like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, Krishna consciousness propagation cannot wait till your material situation becomes perfect. No, so
But there is an aspect of endeavoring to chant better, right?
that
Okay, I mean, I'm not paying attention to Krishna, but then there is that verse, Bahu Janma Kare Yadi Shravana Kirtan Tabutana Pai Krishna Pade Prem. Then you can continue to chant for millions of lifetimes. You will not get Krishna Prem because you're not chanting properly. So understand that, okay, this is my problem, this is an obstacle, and I have a desire to overcome it and endeavor. Yato yato nischalati manaschanchalasthiram. Right.
right. Yeah. So we have to make effort, right? And our effort will be successful when Krishna will be merciful. But we have to have a desire. Like yesterday, Navin Krishna Prabhu was saying about in the class. So it's all about desire. So intensity of our desire is ultimately what matters, right? We have to. If you have intense desire, then we'll do it. Like so many people, previously in Thanksgiving time, people would go and stand in the cold, November time, Thanksgiving, they want to get the thing on sale, so they will stand. And of course, they may have less money and all that, but there's intense desire to get something. Tatra laulyam api mulyam ekalam janma koti sukritir na labhyate. So that desire, we have desire to serve Krishna, and Narad Muni also has desire to serve Krishna, but the intensity of desire is different, right? So that's basically the difference. So depending, like we say, Radharani, why Radharani is the topmost devotee? Because her intensity of love and desire to serve Krishna is the topmost. Nobody can match Radharani's desire. So And we also have some desire. But so as you intensify your desire, that's when you make advancement in bhakti. Or advancement in bhakti means intensification of the desire to surrender to Krishna, to serve Krishna, like that. So normally we are lukewarm, right? Lukewarm. So we have to make our desire from lukewarm to more concentrated, right? Like we have dilute hydrochloric acid and we have concentrated hydrochloric acid. So you can have dilute, and more concentrated like that. So ultimately, yeah, we have to intensify our desire. Like Prabhupada says, most of us don't desire to go back home, back to Godhead. The desire is only not there to go back because we are feeling very nice in this material world, in this Dukhalayam. Maya has covered us and we are feeling very, so we don't desire to go back home. But if Prabhupada says, if somebody desires to go back to home, then Krishna will help in all respects. So, right, he writes that in one of the purports in the Bhagavatam.
Mm.
Right, so the desire is everything is resting on desire. In the 15th chapter, Purushottam Yoga, this whole material world is based on desire. It's created. Krishna created this whole huge material world to satisfy the desire of the living entity. So by our desire we came here, and by our desire we can go out of this material world. Everything is based on desire. So, so like that, when you are done with the material world or all the material desires, then you'll say, now this portion of my life, no, now only Krishna, I don't want anything else. I've been there, done that. It didn't satisfy me. I'm done. I'm done. So that's when the jiva comes to that situation. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatmasu. Oh, after cultivating knowledge and going through many experiences, it comes to this. Oh, Krishna is everything. I have to surrender to Krishna. I'm done with this material world. Then we go back to God about it. So, of course, it's a journey, and all of us are on this journey. And material world is meant to frustrate the jiva, so that he gives up all his and takes to the devotional service of the Lord. Okay, self-realization means to understand one's subordinate position in relation to the Lord. When one is thus enlightened, he surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is liberated from the clutches of material energy. So all the influence of the modes of nature will stop when we surrender to Krishna. In other words, unless one surrenders to the lotus feet of the Lord, the material energy in its many varieties will continue to control him and give all kinds of trouble. Manashashtani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. Krishna says, material energy, everybody is struggling in this material world. No one in the material world can deny that is under control. The Supreme Lord Narayan, who is beyond this material existence, controls everyone. Sometimes we think, well, I want to go there, so I'm doing out of my own free. But that desire is coming. Uh, we say, oh, I have a desire to go to the movie. So I'm going to the movie. I'm free. I can go. But that desire is coming based on our past conditioning. Past conditioning, all these desires are coming in our consciousness. The desire to enjoy, the mode of passion is coming. So that's why I'm saying, no, now I want to go to the movie and I'm going to. I feel independent in doing that, right? It's my own free will. I'm going, yes. But the mode of passion which we have put ourselves under because of our conditioning is controlling that, right? So, like that Bilva Mangal Thakur, right? He was crossing that river and going to meet Chintamani. There was a strong desire, very strong desire, that he crossed the river and he held onto a corpse and he climbed using some snake or something like that, and he went. So very strong desire. So there is the passionate desires can be very strong, and Like people when they go to fight, right, for their nation, some people are very patriotic and they have a very, very strong desire to defend their nation. That even they are injured, they will continue fighting because it's a very strong desire, right? So that's, of course, it's a, like, yeah, they get Paramveer Chakra and all these things, even after they're injured. So the same way, those desires are there for many things in this world. The same way, our desire should be to serve Krishna. So Prabhupada was so intensely desiring that even in his last days, when he was not feeling well, he said, "I want to travel and I want to preach." And we have so many examples like that. Like Jaypada Goswami is there, right? He's in very bad health situation, but he goes and he speaks about Krishna. So that is very like strong desire, irrespective of all the obstacles. So that's that same kind of thing is there for sense gratification also. So we have to just change the object from something of this world to Krishna. In other words, unless one surrenders to the lotus feet of the Lord, the material energy in its many varieties will continue to control him. No one in the material world can deny that he is under control. The Supreme Lord Narayan, who is beyond this material existence, controls everyone. The following Vedic mantra confirms this point. Eko ha vai Narayana asit. Foolish persons think Narayan to be on the platform of ordinary material existence because they do not realize the natural constitutional position of the living entity. They concoct names like Daridra Narayan, Swami Narayan, or Nithya Narayan. However, Narayan is actually the supreme controller of everyone. This understanding is self realization. Okay. So, anything, comments, anything on this verse? What is the time? 8:30. One more verse we'll read and then we'll hear something. So, Vaivashvata Munu is offering his prayers to Matsya Avatar. So, now we are continuing. Yam lo kapala khila matsarajvara hitva yatantopi prathak sametya cha patum nashekur dvipadas chatushpadah sharis shripam sthanu yatatra drishyate. My Lord, from the great leaders of the universe, such as Lord Brahma and other demigods, down to the political leaders of this world, all are envious of your authority. So anybody who's in the material world is envious of the Supreme Lord. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvanda mohena bharata. Samoham sarva bhutani sarge yanti parantapa. Everybody is born by desire and envy. Ichha dvesha. This material body is our sign of envy to the Supreme Lord. My Lord, from the great leaders of the universe, such as Lord Brahma and other demigods, down to the political leaders of this world, all are envious of your authority. Now, the degrees may differ, right? Envy. Without your help, however, in the higher planets, they are less and less envious. In the lower planets, they are more and more envious. Like we have the subterranean heavenly planets, the Asuras live there. They don't accept the authority of the Supreme Lord. But can you imagine how liberal the Supreme Lord is? That even though they don't accept, Krishna has given them all facilities for enjoyment. Krishna is so liberal that even though they don't accept him, still they are given all facilities for enjoyment. So, without your help, however, they could neither separately nor. So, we should not equate our facilities to God consciousness because asuras also have they live very opulently. It doesn't mean that if we are opulent, then we are, as Prabhupada was saying yesterday in the purport, that the opulence is given to the materialist also, and the opulence is given to the devotees. But the opulence given to the materialist is given by what?
Durga Devi.
And that is, yeah. So, so they are very opulent, but that doesn't mean that, yeah, they are. favored by the Lord. Of course, without the Lord, nothing can happen. But it sometimes people say unless you have good things in your life, then you can't be considered really to getting the mercy of the Lord. That's wrong. So
That's why Kunti Maharani says, Janma Aishwarya Shruti Shabe Edaman Madhapaman Nivarte Vedatam Twama Kinchana Gocharam.
yeah.
Means, I mean, those people who have all these things, they're not able to cry for Krishna.
Hmm.
But
Those are
also
very
there is that verse of special mercy, that those who have all these things, but at the same time they're not proud. Like Ambarish Maharaj, who has everything, but he's using everything in Krishna's service. Then these people have attained the special mercy of Krishna, we can see. Means they are devotees also, but also they have everything opulent.
correct. So how you are using it, that determines whether you are a devotee or a asura. If you have opulence and you're using it to serve Krishna, his devotees, then you're a devotee. And if you have opulence and you're using it for your own sense gratification, then you're asura. Or not asura, but maybe in Swargalok they are also having opulence. But they are devotees, they are mixed devotees. Right? They are using it, they have some desires for sense gratification and also they have desire to serve Krishna. So that's like something for me, something for Krishna. That is Sakama Karma Yoga. Sakama means with material desires. So some desires for enjoyment and then some, that's mixed devotion. Like that. So pure devotees are very rare generally. It's not so easy. So without your help, however, they could neither separately nor concertedly maintain the innumerable living entities within this universe. So although they are all envious, but without Krishna's help, they cannot be maintained. You are actually the only maintainer of all human beings, of animals like cows and asses, and of plants, reptiles, birds, mountains, and whatever else is visible within this material world. So Krishna is the only maintainer of everybody. So
Ishavasya vidam sarvam yatkincha.
everything animate or inanimate is owned and controlled by the Lord. So so we should, when one comes to this understanding, Gopatritve, Rakshashi Titi Vishwash. Krishna will maintain me, Krishna will protect me, Krishna is my, then you can surrender. I am depending on Krishna. Krishna will maintain me, Krishna will protect me. And Krishna will reciprocate. Did Krishna not reciprocate with Prabhupada? Oh, he reciprocated in such an amazing way that Prabhupada, like when he came, he did not know where to turn, whether to turn left or right. And in few years he was riding on the Rath Yatra cart with so many followers on the streets of Manhattan, the most important, like business place in New York. So Krishna took care of, he didn't starve. People came to help him. Like that, so many things. Of course, sometimes Prabhupada went through hardships, many hardships he went through. But Krishna eventually, they say Krishna wants to see first you are really surrendered, then he will give you everything. He will give himself also to such a devotee, but he wants to really see. So he will put you through some tests to test you whether you are really, really dedicated, steadfast, and in your devotional service. And then Krishna can give you the whole world. So, of course, not for enjoyment, but for Krishna. Yeah.
Yasyaham anugranami harishe tadhanam shune. Tatodhanam tajante asya swajanam dukkha. Prabhupada was saying this, that I got special mercy from Krishna. He deprived me of all this.
Yeah. Yeah, so that he could come to the position of taking sannyas. and his spiritual master was calling, and his business failed, and wife is not cooperating, and so many things. So that he could, we are all here because of that. So Prabhupada started this ISKCON society, and but he was doing so much, right? He was distributing back to Godhead in the tea stalls of Delhi. So much austerity. He was gored by a bull. He fell unconscious. He was publishing Back to Godhead magazine. He was the one man army, right? There was nobody to help him at that time. He was procuring paper, which was very difficult to find. He was walking because he didn't have money for transportation, right? He would walk. So much austerity, right? We hear that one time he was waiting outside one man's, right, residence, or right, I think he was going to give some donation. So
Mm.
he was
The
waiting.
letter to the dog.
uh, yeah,
No, no. Go ahead.
he was waiting for hours, right? And then that other Maharaj came, and then he gave him some,
Mm.
right, something on the cycle, he was saying.
For few rupees, he was standing for hours.
Of
Mm.
course, rupees at that time had great value in 19 early, but he was sitting outside on the steps of Sumati Murarji's office, so that because he did not have an appointment, because she was very busy with, she was business lady. So much penance, right? I mean, somebody ran after him with a knife, and he went out of the thing in the night. He didn't know where to go. Then he knocked on some door, and then Mukunda and Janaki were there, right? They allowed him to stay or something. So much austerity. Jaladuta, heart attack. Now Prabhupada is very famous, but how much Prabhupada had to endure the hardships and that to spread Krishna consciousness. So then he got all the success. So this is a like we praise Prabhupada, right? Ebe Jasha Goshuk Tribhuvan. May your fame spread over all the three worlds. So completely sold out.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, Prabhupada is the Shaktavesh avatar.
He was empowered. You could say you could also become a Shaktivesh avatar if you surrender to the Lord. Of course, he's a Nitya Siddha, we say like that. But anybody can become empowered if they surrender to that. And all so many disciples of Prabhupada are doing so many wonderful things, right? Starting from nothing. They are empowered because they can do amazing things because they have surrendered. Like in Hungary, we went. There's a whole new Vraj Dham, Shivram Maharaj. Acres and acres of land, huge. And so many devotees are there. And how it all started. So of course, all the devotees together, they did. So many projects have come up, like in Columbus here. We have been, we have 55 acres of land, and all the devotees are contributing, and this. So from, and our expenses will be like in tens of thousands of dollars every month. So who will provide? We are having faith that Krishna will provide. So So if we are surrendered, then Prabhupada said, yeah, we are spending lakhs and lakhs of rupees every day. And those times, lakhs and lakhs of rupees. And so many vehicles, so much opulence was there. So, but of course, it came with hard work of so many devotees. They were distributing books and like that. All the money was being collected, and then temples were established. So they were working very hard to serve Krishna. Okay, so nothing comes cheap, right? We have to. Prabhupada says the Lord wants to see how painstaking the devotee is in his service. The Lord wants to see what are you going to sacrifice for me. The Lord wants to see that. It says an easygoing life, and what it says, an easygoing life and
Advancement, spiritual realization go together.
so one thing is personal austerity also, and the austerity to spread Krishna consciousness. That was most recognized by Prabhupada. When Prabhupada met Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj in London in Bhaktivedanta Manor, he embraced him and said, "Your life is perfect." Like that, because he was taking such great risk to spread Krishna consciousness. So, so that is there. And personal austerity purifies the heart so that when we interact with people, then it transforms their heart. Because you have become empowered by doing so much chanting and so much austerity. Krishna empowers you when you surrender to him. So anybody can become Shaktavesh, empowered by the Lord if they take shelter of the Lord. So it is open to everybody. It is fashionable for materialistic persons to compete with the power of God. Of course, the Shaktavesh avatar doesn't feel I am empowered and I'm. Yeah, he feels like that he's empowered by the Lord. Prabhupada was asked, why, how you did such a miracle? Prabhupada says, no, it is all the mercy of Krishna and my spiritual master. I'm able to do these things. I have no credit. So he doesn't become proud, but he gives all the credit. So Arjuna also became empowered in the. Otherwise, Bhishma and Drona, they are not they are they're big fish. You cannot even get past Bhishma, Drona, and all these Maharathis. But because Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, that's why he could, all the obstacles were finished. So, like that. Of course, Bhishma is a great devotee. He's not a demon or anything. It is fashionable for materialistic persons to compete with the power of God. We'll finish this purport. When so called scientists try to manufacture living entities in their laboratories, their only purpose is to defy the talent and ability of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they are trying to produce life in the laboratory, and their purpose is to defy. This is called illusion. It even exists in the higher planetary systems where great demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and others reside. So illusion reigns supreme in the Kevalashtakam, right? It is said, Abrahma stambha paryantam sarvamaya mayam jagat satyam satyam puna satyam harinam kevalam. From light from Brahma's planet to the lowly clump of grass, Maya reigns supreme. This is Maya's kingdom, material world. So everywhere illusion is there. It exists even in the higher planetary systems, where great demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and others reside. In this world, everyone is puffed up with the false prestige, despite the failure of all his endeavors. He has been beaten up by Maya so bad, but his pride has not diminished. So that is the thing. When so called philanthropists who supposedly want to help the poor are approached by the members of Krishna. That's why Trinadapi Sunichena, right? Krishna, I'm helpless. Everyone is puffed up with false prestige despite the failure of all his endeavors. So many times we have been beaten up by Maya, but still we are having this false prestige. When so called philanthropists who supposedly want to help the poor are approached by members of Krishna consciousness movement, they say you are simply wasting your time while I am feeding vast masses of starving people. Unfortunately, their meager efforts, either singly or together, do not solve anyone's problem. So, hunger problem. People are saying, yeah, why you are serving Krishna? Should you should feed the poor, which ISKCON is also doing. So that is how I am doing something so great. I am relieving the suffering of other people. You are not doing anything, right? They say. Devotees, you are not doing anything philanthropic work. I am doing so much to relieve that. But the real problem is Krishna bhulya jiva bhoga vancha kore. Pashate maya tare japotiya tare. So consciousness problem. The real problem is consciousness problem. And unless that is corrected, Other solutions are all temporary. Because you will again get into that situation because of bad consciousness. You'll again get into that situation. So sometimes so-called Swamis are very eager to feed poor people, thinking them to be Daridra Narayan, Lord's incarnation as beggars. They prefer to serve the manufactured Daridra Narayan than the original Supreme Narayan. They say, don't encourage service to Lord Narayan. It is better to serve the starving people of this world. Unfortunately, such materialists, either singly or combined in the form of United Nations, cannot fulfill their plans. The truth is that many millions of human beings, animals, birds, and trees, indeed all living entities, are maintained solely by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ego Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. One person, the Supreme Lord, is supplying the necessities of life for all other living entities. To challenge the authority of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the business of asuras, demons. Yet sometimes suras or devotees are also bewildered by their illusory energy and falsely claim to be the maintainer of the entire universe. Such incidents are described in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Shukdev Goswami tells how Lord Brahma and King Indra became puffed up and were eventually chastised by Krishna. Brahma Vimohan Leela and Govardhan Leela. Right? So we'll stop there. Here 10 minutes. Some class. Okay, so let's see. One class by Keshav Maharaj. Here that I was hearing this. Where is the history? The heart is to reach.
Welcome to the Wisdom That Breathes channel. Across all our platforms, we try to share wisdom which is relevant and accessible to everyone. But on this particular platform, we go deeper into some of the ancient principles found within the scripture.